Day of the crime. Could you tell us again about what happened that day? The day Detective Goodman was murdered. You were participating in a ceremony over at the station, right? I've never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one. Because you were awarded this. Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on the ceremony. I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over to the police department. You finished up at the office? Yes, just odds and ends, clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is, until I was asked to take something back. Take something back? This! Oh yeah, Chief Gant asked you to hold on to that, didn't he? Yes, it was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office. That's the story we heard yesterday. So you came back here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to? That's right. The chief framed you? The chief and Lana framed you. Or the chief framed Lana. This award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with two characters. The first means halberd, and the second means shield. Have you heard the story? Halberd? No, it's spear. It's spear and shield anyway. Me? Oh, sure, everyone knows that. Why don't you tell it though? For Emma's sake. Very well. Long ago in the kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant. One day he presented the king with two items. The first was a halberd he claimed could slice through any shield or armor. The second was a shield he claimed could withstand any enemy. Wait a minute. Those claims contradict each other. Very perceptive. But then again, you've heard the story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very descriptions of these items discredit them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless. And thus the Chinese word for contradiction was born. Oh, I see. So the chipped shield and broken knife symbolize... Precisely so, they symbolize the merchant's items. The ancient tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words. But it is in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion. Even if it results in something as ugly as this. Something as ugly as this. Wow. Thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. I learned something new today. Yeah, good for you. That's funny. If that's so, then why were you only given a shield? You will have to ask Chief Gant. 2 years ago, he had the halberd part of the award abolished. Chief Gant. King of Prosecutors Trophy updated in the court record. 2 years ago, the halberd was removed at Gant's behest, giving it its current form. Okay, are we done here? Oh, are we done here? Are we done here? I mean, there's also the jar. Alright, I assume we're done here. February 24, Prosecutor's Office, underground parking lot. Excuse me. Would either of you care for a quarter pound of roast beef? Oh yeah, no, yeah, give it to me. Miss Star! I guess she's out of lunches. You certainly are the curious sort, aren't you? Kind of like the first person who sucked a cow's nipple to discover milk. You don't have to do it yourself, you just watch the calf. You don't need to do it yourself. Still, I never thought you'd go digging up that case from 2 years ago. Everyone in this trial was involved in the SL9 incident. Not only that, but the murder occurred on the very day the evidence from that case was due for transferal. This can't be attributed to mere coincidence. Aren't you forgetting something? You know that little scene I happened to witness? Yeah, you lied. The instant Lana stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. No matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. Roast beef is meant to be savored when eaten. Miss Star's hatred towards Lana. It all dates back to 2 years ago. Joe Dark. That's a name I'll not soon forget. We trailed him for half a year. Oh, the pressure. Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than I was then. Those days were steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Okay. Poor old Jake Marshall, though, must have been going through hell. You mean because of his brother's death? They were close, those two. After Neil died, something took over Jake. He's become obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate. Her? Lana Skye. My sister. The best of the best were put on that SL9 case. Of course they were led by that legendary duo. Lana and Chief Gant. That legendary pair was the reason we were able to keep up our investigation. That's why we were so shocked over how it turned out. You mean with the forging of the evidence? Don't get me wrong, Joe Dark got what he deserved. Still, it was obvious the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Items our team never found would suddenly appear, while other items were kept secret. That just sounds like this case. But you don't have proof anything illegal was done. I'm proof enough of what happened. What? After that case, all of us save Goodman were relieved of our duties. Most without even so much as an explanation. Then Lana Skye transferred to the prosecutor's office and became chief prosecutor. Lana always wanted to be a prosecutor. Nothing is quite as simple as it appears. Ah! Lana Skye was merely being used as a pawn. Yeah, I knew that. Why is that a surprise to anyone? That's my take on the matter. She was being used? Yep, she was fed. She kept being fed bad evidence by Chief Gant to lock people away. Like she's the police's person inside the prosecutor's office. Damon Gant and Lana Skye. Basically, Gant is a crooked cop. Gant led the investigation. With Lana second in command, they were the best. They solved all kinds of cases together, didn't they? Damon Gant's magnetism in particular was almost unreal. I don't know, he's repulsive to me. His magnetism. By that I mean his ability to attract evidence. Not attract people, but evidence. He produced the most incredible evidence in the cases he handled. Incredible evidence? You mean... Oh yes, there were rumors about him even back then. No one dared confront him though. I take it she is talking about forged evidence. Back then everyone looked up to Lana, all the detectives wanted to be like her. Really? Oh yes, myself included. I was a fool really. Well, you're a fool now too. She hated anything crooked and always watched out for the other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake. Mr. Marshall. When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as if she had lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would ever have recovered from his shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating. Miss Starr, that's why. I'll never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to turn so cold after that? Because she's a criminal. Being used. Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office 2 years ago, didn't she? Yes, thanks to Chief Gant's powerful influence. Chief? That's right. Having solved the SL9 case, his position as chief was secured. There was only one thing left for him to control, and then no one could stand in his way. The prosecutor's office. Nani? You mean that's why Lana was transferred? If he could control the chief prosecutor, he could control the prosecutor's office. That must have been his goal all along. But how could he control Lana? Because he's blackmailing her. I don't know, but one thing's for sure. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. Yeah, because he knows he forged evidence for her. She used it so he can blackmail her. Although the reverse is also true, she can blackmail him back because she knows his secrets. It's only logical to conclude there must have been a reason for her change. At last, I'm finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly mess. Thank you, Mr. You listen to me, Rookie. It takes more than just ingredients to create a fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chef than I've been. Alright, I think we're done here. Move to the police department. Move to criminal affairs. February 24 police station, criminal affairs department. Oh, you're back. You're still here. I gotta make 150 copies of these files. Brewing coffee, copying files. I'm turning into a regular DJ. You're a DJ as well? If I'm not mistaken, I think he means desk jockey. Oh, that DJ. I gotta admire your persistency, but my answer's still no. I'm not letting you into the chief's office, period. It'd be my neck on the line. That office is the last crime scene in the SL9 incident. I have to take a look in there. There's got to be something we can do to make the detective change his mind. Present this? Hey, that's it. Yeah. Awards. Congratulations. Say, this design's based on an old Chinese parable, right? Yeah, everyone knows that. There was this, dragon. Yeah, that was it, a dragon. He had a thing for shields, see? That's not exactly the version we heard. No, but this one sounds more exciting. Anyway, it gets kind of gory after that, I'll spare you the details. Okay, that's not... apparently that's not it. Can we tell him that we want to put this in the chief's office? This guy almost made us lose the case today. What are you talking about? He was guarding the bloodstain on that evidence locker with his life. That's more than you can say about most officers nowadays. It would have saved us a lot of trouble if he hadn't guarded it so well. I have to admit, he's right though. Thanks to the Blue Badger, we were able to prove another possibility today. The possibility that another murder took place prior to 5:15 PM. What am I showing him? Victim's memo. Muffler, parking lot. Victim's body. About this SL9 incident, weapon. Found a car muffler, incriminating. We already did that before. The knife. The IDs. Who is Sevens? Is that Chief Gant? Can I present this to him? That's the ID card record. Yes, there's only one number left to investigate at 4:20 PM. The victim, Detective Goodman, must have entered the evidence room along with someone else. Someone with an executive officer number. 777777777. That's 17 too many, Detective. An executive officer. I just might have a hunch. Wait, so that could be Gantz. We can't talk to him about it though. How do we convince him that the Sevens is Gantz? Bruce Goodman, you can do just about anything these days with the card and secret number, scary. Alright. Edgeworth's evidence brought back to his office by Gant's request. The glove? I don't think the glove has anything to do with anything. About that jar, I think I've seen it before somewhere. Or maybe it's one of those memories people have from previous lives. This must be the most wonderful detective. Look, he knows it, so now we present this, right? he doesn't accept. Why? Why does he not accept that as evidence? This is the dumbest ass game I've ever seen in my life. Okay, this is what I show him. What's this crumpled up piece of paper? No way! Mr. Edgeworth can't be serious. Is he ever not serious? I can't believe they pushed him this far. Mr. Edgeworth really feels responsible. When I first met him, I thought he was cold as ice too. But I know different now. He trusted us detectives to provide him with sound evidence. But we betrayed him. Detective. That's it. I've made up my mind. But here, take my ID card. Why would they? Why would he give us his card now? We can't do that if someone found out. They wouldn't let you off the hook with another lost item report. Look at me. It's no secret I'm already out of the loop. After all, I'm friends with Mr. Edgeworth. Depending on how this case turns out, I may already be as good as terminated. Nani? So at least let me do this for Mr. Edgeworth's sake. Alright, detective. Thank you. Gumshoe's ID tucked swiftly in the pocket. A police department ID card allows access to areas of PD open to detectives. Okay. Like, why would that convince him to hand over his ID card? Like, I thought we had to show him that we have suspicions about Gant's office. But it turns out we have to show him a resignation letter from Edgeworth that has nothing to do with Gant's. That doesn't make any sense, right? Alright, let me just check this. What's his number? Detective Gumshoe isn't very photogenic, is he? Whatever you do, just don't say that to his face. Look, his eyes are half shut. Yeah, and his mouth is half open. Hey, each of his shirt buttons is off a notch. And he's got the narrow end of his tie in front. I think this goes beyond being a photogenic issue. Oh, we don't get his number though. I'm gonna take the briefest of breaks. I'm gonna save it here, but I'll be right back. Probably it's in the same video, in fact. Alright, what am I doing? I am moving into the chief's office, yes? Move chief's office. February 24th, Police Department Chief's Office. Here goes Mr. Wright. Click. There's a safe. We're in! And if anyone finds us now, Detective Gumshoe's a goner. I mean, isn't there a record on the keypad? If that happens, I'm counting on you to bail me out. What do you... Yeah! Car! Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I didn't even know you could slap a ghost. Ah! Detective Gumshoe! What are you doing sneaking up on us like that? I wasn't sneaking. I was just worried something might go wrong. So I came too. If you're here, then what's the point in giving us your ID card? Gumshoe's ID card crushed and rendered unusable in pocket. What? Hey, don't do that to my card. Why did you crush it? Why didn't you give it back? I hardly ever get a chance to come in here, so I figured I'd have a look around myself. Besides, we're all in this together now. I guess so. You really do want to get fired, don't you? Not if we're lucky. Now come on, let's see what we can find out. I've got a bad feeling about this. Indeed. Examine! This is a safe, isn't it? Safe? That word is ripe with intrigue. Okay, if you say so. It looks like a code needs to be entered in this panel to open it. Huh. A 7-digit number. I think I just might know what it is. Do you know what it is? I have a hunch. Oh, I know. You want to try my birth date, it's... No. I have a better idea. Here goes nothing. It can't possibly... That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Why use 7 digits when you can use 1? That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Ah, that's not a safe. That's an unsafe. This is unsafe storage. Who wrote this? Who wrote this story and why is it so bad? Why is it so bad? Bingo. What number did you enter? Whose birthday was that, pal? 7777777, the final ID card number on that record. Nani? The number of the mysterious executive officer who entered that room that day. You mean 7777777, that ID number. I think you're 1 7 shy this time. This can only mean one thing, that's Chief Gan's ID number. How do you... Why? That's not certain. Say, anyone care to look inside? No. I mean, why do you think I opened it, Emma? Is there any money in there? And how much does he have stashed away? Look, it's a shard from a broken cup. This somehow looks familiar. Where have I seen this before? There's something else in here too. What's this? It looks like a piece of leather cloth. This is a handprint, isn't it? Hey, I saw someone wearing a shirt like that once. You think the chief made up the design? I don't think so. Oh, well, it was just a thought. Why are these people so stupid? Just shut up! Is that it? This is all that was in the safe? Apparently so, it's empty now. A piece of cloth with a handprint on it, and a broken shard from a cup. They look like pieces of evidence. Yeah, but unless you can prove they have something to do with this case, I'm afraid I can't just let you take them. After all, it's my neck on the line here. Great, now I have to prove their relevancy to get them. How are these two items related to the SL9 incident? Why do they say so much irrelevant stuff? Of course there's something we can show the detective. They treat you like a moron. I'm not gonna do that yet. This is the real deal, isn't it? This armor and these weapons. Sure is, pal. The chief doesn't care for imitations. First the pipe organ, now there's armor. Do you know how many taxpayers' dollars must have gone into this room? Nani? You mean we're paying for this? That's it. I'm not paying 1 cent of my taxes. That's not how that works. You don't have any taxes to pay. Be careful of what you say. Who knows? The chief might be hiding in this armor as we speak. I don't think he'd fit in there. Even if he did, he'd never be able to get back out. Cut it out, you guys don't know how scary that guy can be. You can see pretty far from 15 stories up. If you were to drop that suit of armor from here, at first the chief wanted to use stained glass for this window. Really? Why didn't he? They say he changed his mind because he wouldn't be able to see the view. Oh. Stained glass or not, it's a huge window. It's not that huge. The table... Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk. Speaking of that, when we were here earlier... Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. He put that paper he was reading in his desk. I wonder what he was reading. This looks like a list of evidence. He just said a list of evidence, you don't have to repeat it. In most cases, the list runs twice as long as this though. Hey, look at the case name. The SL9 incident. I wonder what this is doing here. He's reviewing the evidence from the SL9 case. Why is this dialogue so stupid? Hold on, detective, what did you just say? I said I wonder what... No, about evidence list. They said that already. Edgewood said that already. Normally they're twice as long. This is like the second time they've said this. That's right, I guess there wasn't a lot of evidence. A half-size list of evidence. The list of evidence, it seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. Yeah, they said that already. What would the other half of the list be doing here? Oh, that's the other half? I knew it, the chief must be hiding something about that case. It would appear so. Evidence list added to the court record. List of evidence in the SL9 incident was ripped in half, so this part is all I've got. They ripped it in half. Oh, that's not suspicious at all. The list is half missing. Yeah, okay. Why would anyone have gotten away with a ripped sheet of evidence? Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk. The chief's organ sure is a sight to behold. Occasionally we hear him playing it from the Criminal Affairs Department. That's on the 2nd floor, and this is the 15th floor of an entirely different building. When the detective screws up, the chief calls them to his office and makes them listen to the organ for hours. What's so bad about that? Music soothes the soul. After that, the detective can't hear anything for days except for the ringing in the ears. That seems... I don't know. It's an instrument of punishment. I don't know. What's wrong with this? But aren't the chief's ears affected? He never listens to anyone anyway. That's funny. That's besides the point. You know... Oh, that's actually right. If you think back to what the chief says, he doesn't actually listen to what you say. Every time he just says his own thing. That's actually funny.